All right, I think we are live. 100%, as I don't see my face.
Oh, there we
go.
All right, guys, so I don't know if anybody's going to watch this because I didn't announce it or anything like that. But I just thought, I want to see what people have to say about Super Tuesday. I want to see what people have to say about the about the Supreme Court ruling and all that kind of stuff. I don't seem to have anybody in the chat. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There's people showing up. Christian Watson. My good friend Christian Watson is in the chat. That's great. This is a gentleman I know from real life. He's got his own YouTube channel. I highly suggest you guys check out his YouTube channel. The guy is like kind of like a genius. Right. Okay, I don't have any audio on this. I don't know if that matters because I don't have to hear anything, right? Oh, there's an echo. Oh, good Lord. Oh, that's not good. One moment, please. I will go into my audio settings. And I will disable. Okay. All right. That should be good. That should be good. Audio settings should be fixed. No more echo, I'm thinking. I hope. I hope that's right. All right. Hey, what's going on? Time foolery. Cheryl is like, she's not happy with the echo. All right. Well, it's all fixed. All right. I fixed it. I fixed it. This should be the best live stream in the history of the world. Not really. Not really. It's not. I don't have anything really epic to say. I mean, we can talk a lot about all the different things going on in politics at the moment. But I want to know one question, which is, why is Donald Trump so awesome? I'm watching the Super Tuesday stuff. I'm halfway across the world, so I was asleep for a lot of it. Then I wake up. Trump's won everything, except I think Vermont is being a little bit crazy because they have like an open primary and Democrats have flooded in and they're trying to vote him, vote Nikki Haley in. I don't know, some kind of like, I don't know what they think are going to get out of that. Like, Trump didn't win all 50 states, something like that. But, I'm watching Trump's speech, and I saw Trump's speech over at CPAC, and I've seen a couple of speeches recently, and he just seems to be getting better and better and better. Everything he says is like totally on point. I remember when he ran the first time, and especially in 2020, most of his speeches were on point, but occasionally he'd say something that was like a little crazy. It would get a lot of news, or one of his speeches would be a little like, okay, a little rambling. People didn't like it. Now it seems like everything is on point. He's not only is he making the statements that are necessary, in terms of like what we need in this country, but when he goes off on his tangents and tells his stories, they're all funny, they're all on point. He seems to be like Trump in like super mode, right? It's like something happened in, between 2020 and now where everything Trump is doing is right, it seems to me. But I think that the reason, my theory, and you guys can tell me what you guys think here, we got a couple of people already chiming in. I Repair Electronics says, because he's real. Cheryl writes, he's awesome. Tara Peter says, Trump is awesome because he loves the country and he never gives up. I love these statements. I love these perspectives. Sunshine Happy Lady says, we stand with Trump. Let's see here. John Soper, message retracted. Okay, I don't know what you said, but I'm sure it was amazing. You guys are all right. I like this expression from I Repair Electronics. Trump is real. He's very real, right? He's authentic. You believe that what Trump is saying he truly believes. Do you get that with Biden? Should I even ask that question? That's like a ridiculous question, right? But here's why I love Trump. Trump is a businessman, okay? And you might think that that is a negative in some ways because you work for business owners and you work for, CEOs, top managers at companies, and you go, okay, I don't want this guy running the country. This guy's an a-hole, right? But the reality is, and this is what I know from growing up with a father who owned a business, right? Like my family, my father had a business for many years, And that was like part of my life growing up. And I would go to the company and I would see how it was managed, and I would listen to what my father would say. And let me tell you guys this. Let me tell you guys this. Not everybody realizes that business owners, can be good people. A lot of times we go, oh, they're taking all the profit, and the little guy, he gets what, minimum wage. This is terrible. What a greedy guy. But the reality is, my father really did care about his employees. Really. He would talk about this in private with me. This is not something that, he would say, because, my father was not a famous person. He just had a business with something like, I don't know, 50 employees. And he would talk about, what he was trying to do to help out his employees and stuff like this. And he genuinely cared about these people. And he was trying to improve their lives, make their lives better. And he had relationships with a lot of these people. And so, it was not like he was just a greedy business owner, you know what I mean? And secondly, when you have a business and you're trying to make it make money, and that's not why I like Trump, by the way. I'm just trying to present the case that business owners are not all evil and crooked. But Donald Trump, so like one thing that was amazing about my father, growing up with my father, is that the kind of business that he had, often you would have problems arise at the company, problem with the product or problem with, some kind of logistics or problem with a client or something like that. And my father was always having to problem solve, and that was really why he was a successful business owner. Because anytime a problem would arise, he'd sit there and he'd think, okay, how do we fix this problem? And oftentimes we talk about the difference between men and women and how women come home with all these problems and they're complaining, and the guy doesn't understand because he's sitting there and he's going, okay, well, this is how we solve the problem. And the woman gets so frustrated because the woman doesn't really want the problem solved. She just wants to vent, right? And the guy's like, oh, okay, I thought we were trying to like make progress here. And I think it is in the sort of core nature of most men to problem solve, right? And some of us are better at it than others. It's like, just like basketball, right? Some basketball players are amazing, some are okay. Some problem solvers are world class, some are okay. I think Donald Trump is a world class problem solver. You hear him talk about these issues and these problems, and when he presents solutions, they make sense. When Joe Biden or Democrats present solutions to problems, oftentimes they're problems that don't really exist. We have a problem with mega extremists. They're the most dangerous problem in the world, ever since the revolution or something. I don't know. I don't know. The guy's crazy, right? I mean, the problems that they create, white supremacy is the biggest problem in America. Well, no, it isn't. We all know that it isn't. And so then they create solutions for these problems that don't exist. And then the solutions wouldn't work anyway. When you have a real problem like the border, right? What do? They go, oh, we're going to go down to South America to explore the root causes. Well, we know what the root cause is. You gutted the legislation that Trump put in place to keep the border closed, right? We know that's the root cause. They're like, oh no, but there's reasons why people want to come to America. Okay, let me tell you what the root cause is, Kamala. The root cause of people coming to America is that America is awesome, right? People want to come to America. I feel like if they see downtown Los Angeles, they won't want to come anymore, but we have this image that America is great, and so people want to come into this country. And honestly, it really is great. I've been traveling around the world, and I can say that we are a very lucky people. You're very lucky to be born in America. You're very lucky to have American parents. You're very lucky to have that environment, or whatever. Even if you don't have American parents, if they're immigrants, if you're born in America, you are a very lucky human being. Let me just tell you. But Donald Trump can solve these problems, and what was amazing to me is when he made all these promises in 2016. I actually didn't take him that seriously. I said, okay, well, I think he's going to solve a lot of these problems, but I think that sometimes when you get into a new scenario, like the President of the United States of America, somebody like Donald Trump is going to go, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing here. There's a sort of learning curve, right? Steep learning curve. And I didn't think Trump was going to be able to figure out how to navigate every issue as president. But he kind of did, right? Like he was able to solve so many problems so quickly. I mean, I was blown away in that first year that Trump was president. And so now I have a lot more confidence that Trump is going to do it again. And I think a lot of Republicans that maybe didn't vote for him in 2016, maybe they'll vote for him this time around. Now, I think maybe in 2020 they did vote for him, but you guys know what happened in 2020. I don't know if I can say it live on my YouTube channel, but I think you all know what I'm talking about. So it doesn't really matter who voted. And some of you guys are going to say, well, 2024 is going to be the same. There's no way Trump can win. I don't agree with you. I think we got the numbers now so great that it goes beyond the margin of a rigged election. I actually think that's how much Trump is going to win by in 2024. So let's have a look here. I don't have any super chats or anything, but I do have just folks issuing their perspective. So let me kind of go through this a little bit. Dan Black says, "Does Nikki Haley have enough shame to bow out?" To bow, he said bow her in it, but I think he means bow out. Yeah, that's a great question, you guys. Angel X writes, "Buy Noble Gold." No, 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 no. Noble Gold and I have split ways. I know, it's shocking, right? So we'll have some more sponsors here shortly for you guys. Um, let's see here. Sorry, it was a mishit of keys. I'm no troll. No, no, we don't think you're a troll there, Talos115. Leon, servant of Christ, writes, now we know and see the truth, and it's easier to see people for how they are. Jesus is God writes, where is your beautiful wife? The beautiful wife is no longer. I know I've never talked about this on the show. I don't tend to. Me and the ex-wife, we divorced like, I don't know, a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago, something like that. But I just don't talk about that kind of stuff on my show typically. Actually, before we split up, she didn't really want to be on the show anymore. We tried to do this show together called Toxic Masculinity, which I want to pick up again with some guys. That was always the original intent. But she was just available all the time, so we started to do it. And she didn't have a very good experience with that, being on camera. She didn't feel like the fans liked her particularly, and I know a lot of fans did, but I don't know. She just didn't like it. She didn't like being exposed like this. She's a very shy girl. So anyway, we had our differences, and it just we were very incompatible. Let's see here. I know people like to get into the personal life stuff, but I want to talk about Donald Trump. She left because Mr. Reagan supports Ukraine. I'm a bit agnostic when it comes to the Russian thing, but I do think that I do feel sorry for the people of Ukraine, and I would like the bombardments to end if possible. If you buy gold, get it in physical possession. I mean, there are many ways to buy gold. I don't necessarily think it's bad to invest in gold. T Beans writes, "Thank you for what you do. You are awesome, Mr. Reagan." Well, thank you, T Beans. Shayla May writes, "We love Trump." And that is the point of this video. I presented to you guys my case of I think Trump is a superior president primarily because he's a good businessman and he has all of this experience problem solving and negotiating with high level people and to get what he needs to get for his business. And so now he just translates that to how do I get what I need for the country, right? And Trump, and this is the other reason Trump's a great president, he's not corrupt, right? I know, shocker, that makes a good president, but it is kind of a novelty these days, right? I mean, I believe that Obama was corrupt. I believe that Hillary, had she become president, and even before that, obviously, I believe Hillary was extremely corrupt. I believe Joe Biden is corrupt. I mean, we all know this stuff. If you have a corrupt president, they are never going to do what is in the best interest of we, the American people. He's going to do what is in the best interest of we, the deep state, we, the permanent Washington, the people that benefit from the machinations that go on in D.C. I mean, if you think about it, if you come from a relatively middle class or poor background and you get into politics and people are whispering in your ear like, okay, guy, this is how it's done here. This is how you get rich. This is how you play the game. Jay says, Carrie Lake for VP. That's an interesting thing. I assumed that Carrie Lake would be the VP choice. I met her in CPAC last year, not this year, but last year. And she was very close to Trump, obviously. She's really got Trump's ear. She was really sort of like shoulder to shoulder with Trump the entire time he was there. I met Trump as well, and Trump is a true gentleman, you guys. Like, Trump is not a sort of like brutal, aggressive person in real life when you're shaking his hand, you're inches from him. He's really a soft-spoken guy. He's really a gentleman. I have been told by sources that I am pretty confident are telling me the truth, or at least they believe this is true, who the vice president pick will be. And this was someone chosen quite a long time ago, and it's somebody that I have not heard anybody speculate about. So that may be wrong. I may have wrong information, but these are people that are very close to Trump, and I was assured this is who they're going to pick as VP. This is Trump's already picked the VP. He's had this in mind for a while, and this is who it's going to be. Maybe that's right. I don't know, but it's nobody that I've heard on any list of any kind of speculation. So I'm a little skeptical of this, but every time I hear this is VP, this is VP, I don't know. We'll see if my source was accurate. We'll see if my source was accurate. It'll be interesting. Theseus says Vivek should be VP. I mean, I would love that. I think Vivek is awesome. You know, I like Carrie Lake too. I think she's like very cool, very, very well spoken, very funny, very charming. I think she does great speeches. I think she's, you know, she put out that tape. And I don't know why that wasn't a bigger story. Maybe you guys can explain that to me. I mean, I did a video on this. She put out that tape where somebody was trying to bribe her. It was actually a Republican. And that's the weird thing to me. Like, that wasn't even big in the mainstream media, which I would have thought, since it was a Republican, a prominent Republican there in Arizona, that was, I think she was the head of the RNC in Arizona, and he was trying to bribe Carrie Lake. And, like, why isn't this on MSNBC? Why isn't MSNBC going, whoa, they talk about corruption. Here's your corruption. It's in the Republican Party. Well, I think the reason is because all these folks in the mainstream media, they don't want to go after the corrupt swamp dwellers in D.C. They're happy with them because they're working together. All right, we got a super chat. This is from Dean Jager. Dean Jager, he writes, enable channel memberships. Do I not have a channel membership enabled? I would have assumed that I did, but thank you, Dean Jager. I will enable that if I don't already. Dean Jager, you got a cool name, man. Jager. I like that. That would be Jaeger, probably, right? Like Jägermeister? That would be like probably like a Scandinavian name, I'm assuming. You know what's funny? We did the DNA test, and I have a lot of Scandinavian blood. I didn't know I did. I don't know if this is from Vikings or I don't know what this is. I honestly have no idea. But we're mostly German, my family. My mother's father is Scottish, but we're mostly German. And then I got all this like Norwegian. I got a little Swedish, a little Danish, but I got a lot of Norwegian, about 12%, which I didn't know. So I think that must be Viking blood. But it's all Northern European, which is good and bad. I like it because I don't know. I like me, and I'm Northern European. Okay, I like it. I like Northern European history. I like medieval stuff. I like all that kind of stuff. So it's great. I love being Northern European. But it's a little bit annoying because I don't have that get out of jail free card by saying, well, like I'm 1% Middle Eastern or Muslim or black or something. Like I'm nothing. I'm just Northern European. So I don't have any. I don't even have Jewish in me. I can't even make jokes about Jewish people and go, oh, I'm 1% Jewish. Just white. I am as white as they get. I don't necessarily look. I got like dark hair, dark eyes, but yeah, I'm about as white as they get. Mike Molina, sorry, Mr. Reagan, I'm late, but I'm here. What did I miss? Well, Mike Molina and all those who are just in, I wanted to present the case that Trump is awesome. I think primarily because I don't think that Fart Sausage says that she likes my view on blacks, or sorry, he likes my view on blacks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you think my view on blacks is. I don't really have I don't think I have a particularly unusual view of race. Basically, just I don't like racism and I think it's terrible. Of any kind. Well, but primarily I think the problem in America is that we're racist against white people. And I point that out as often as I can. Unwoke Thoughts, Super Chat, writes, hey man, big fan. You were a big inspiration for me to start my own channel. Glad you're doing live streams. Yeah, I don't really do live streams. I just thought this was a good time to throw it up there. Unwoke Thoughts. Okay, so if you guys are on YouTube right now, just jump on Unwoke Thoughts and subscribe to the channel. He started his own channel, so let's have a watch. Also, I'll go subscribe to it. I can't right this second, but as soon as I get off the live stream, Unwoke Thoughts, I'm going to check that out. I think we need to support everybody who's kind of coming up, who's trying to have their voices heard, because a lot of you guys, it's funny, when I started my channel, somebody wrote California for Trump. Yeah, I certainly hope so. Theseus says, "Be proud you are Northern European." I wish I was. That's pretty funny. Well, Theseus sounds Greek. Are you Greek? Uh, Degadoy Carlos says, "I love the blacks. I love the blacks. I love everybody." I used to say I hate everybody equally, which I always thought was kind of a funny joke. I'm not racist at all. I hate everybody the same. I hate the blacks. I hate the whites. I hate the Mexicans, whatever it is. but no, I actually kind of love everybody equally. It's kind of funny. You become more in love with the world, I think, when you start meeting good people, right? And after I started my YouTube channel, I really met a lot of good people from everywhere, and I just love humanity. I think you get awesome people from everywhere, and that's really the cool thing. Like, all right, let's see here. Let's celebrate their first super chat on a live stream. It says it's like prompting me to say that. So, Sheila May, $20 writes, "You are amazing." Thank you so much, Sheila May. You are amazing, actually. You guys are great. And this is what I meant to say. Like when I started my Sandra Nezki says, "Mexican girl here loves you." Love you too, Sandra. That's the thing. When I used to have this idea that like Americans, for the most part, are like a little bit uninformed, don't care about politics, don't care about any of this stuff, and they're just kind of going along their business, which is fine. I don't know if following politics too closely is healthy, to be honest. But I just thought, okay, I don't get along with most people. I don't like most people. I like the good people. I like good people with a good soul who want to help the world or who want to at least help their family and like try to do the right things in this world. And you just didn't meet those people very often. Well, once I started my channel, Boomka175 says, "Are you related to Ronald Reagan?" Unfortunately, no, I am not. My grandfather did look quite a lot like Ronald Reagan, though, so I always had this like grandfatherly affection. I thought of him as like a grandfather. But oh, the Constitutional Conservative. This is more on point, guys. The Constitutional Conservative says Trump didn't mention Nikki Haley in his speech tonight, and I think that is a shift where the party will start to unite. That is a very good point. Trump didn't even acknowledge the existence of Nikki Haley tonight. That's true. I saw the whole speech. He did not mention her. That is a potent expression. Anyway, I wanted to say when I started my channel, and I started going to CPAC especially. Oh my gosh, you meet so many good people, so many Christians, so many just conservative people who just genuinely want to make the world a better place and want to make America a better place. And man, it just touched me. I read in the comment section all the time, you guys, your ideas that you have. Theseus says, "President Reagan was great." He certainly was great. You read in the comment section stuff that is smarter than what you thought of. And that was really humbling to me because you think, oh, I've got all these cool ideas about politics, and you watch somebody like Steven Crowder, you watch somebody like Ben Shapiro, and you go, oh, these guys are really smart. Or Tucker Carlson, you go, man, these guys are really smart. I don't know if I could ever do that. But then I thought, well, you know what? I do have a camera. I do have a microphone. Let me give that a shot. I have some ideas that people probably haven't heard of. I'm from Oregon. I'm just a regular guy, but I've got all these ideas about politics and my dad was always really into politics, so he had all these brilliant ideas about politics as well. I thought I've got enough new ideas that I don't think people have heard yet that I want to present some of these cases on a YouTube channel. So I made the channel. What I did not expect is how much smarter than me a lot of you guys were. I mean, I'm good at presenting, okay? I'm good at presenting. So even if I'm presenting ideas that are mediocre, it's probably going to be okay. I do think a lot of my ideas are very good. A lot of the way that I present, a lot of the way that I see politics in the world, a lot of the ideas I have are quite good. But when I read comments in the comment section, a lot of times I am so blown away by how brilliant you guys are. So this really changed my perspective on America and the world, and I'm a much more positive person having started the show. Let's see here. Let's see. Vicky RN, which I assume means you're a nurse, said that she likes that he didn't bash Nikki. Yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, if he were to bash Nikki at this point, it would just be sad. I think it wouldn't make Trump look good unless it was really, really funny. Joda the 5150 says, I watched Shapiro to come down off Adderall. Do you think that's where he gets all his energy? I will say I haven't had any caffeine today. Right now, you guys don't wouldn't believe this, but it's almost noon, or it's just after noon. It's 12:30 where I am, and I haven't had any caffeine today. But I definitely need some. Someone by the name of Stephen Thompson wrote Oregon or Oregon. It's Oregon. I used to make the joke that people in Oregon they're a bit left wing. They're very progressive people. They would never be racist. They would never be any kind of like they don't really have any prejudices. They welcome everybody. But if you say Oregon, they will lynch you. Oregonians hate when people mispronounce Oregon. There's different ways. Some people say Oregon. Some people say Oregon. Like the E. I think people used to say Oregon more with the E sound. And now they say Oregon. We just kind of like lost the E part of it. JG32 says Trump 2024 Return of the Jedi. That's quite cool, actually. I might make that into a T-shirt. I think that's genius, man. Because he's kind of a Jedi, isn't he? Let's see here. Helixa writes, bro, you got a shout out from Gavin McInnes a week ago. Keep it up. I heard that. And I tried to watch his show, but it was behind a paywall. And it was kind of complicated to get through to watch his show. So I was just like, I had other stuff to do. But I want to see that. I love Gavin McInnes. I wonder what the shout out was about because I don't know if he remembers me. We did hang out for a night once at a bar, but he was so drunk. I don't know. I don't know if he remembers it. He was pretty wasted. Let's see here. Shapiro has conflicted allegiances, says CP. I have noticed that. Shapiro seems to not really like Trump. He seems very reluctant to support Trump, which I kind of stopped watching him a while back because of that. But I do like Shapiro at his core. I think he's got a good, he is conservative. He does want to help America. But let's see here. JG32 writes 2016 A New Hope. Oh, that makes so much. Oh, that's brilliant, actually, because Empire was the dark one, right? That ended on a sour note. It ended sad. It ended like scary, right? And then Return of the Jedi. That's so smart. That's so smart. Oh man, I'm gonna make a T-shirt out of that. You're a genius. Speaking of T-shirts, oh, I don't know if you guys are gonna care about this, but I made a bunch of T-shirts. Let me see if I can post that up. I hope I can. I think I can. Let's have a look here. Oh no, not there. There. All right, hold on. Nope. One moment. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's have a look. All right, I don't know if you guys can see that. I did all of these new designs. Now, you guys probably are not going to like these. I'm curious what you guys think. You can mention it in the comments. Basically, my idea was that like leftists, I'm going to start promoting this on my show, but I don't know why it's in euros. I'm in America, but the prices are, I think, a little bit less in dollars. But anyway, it's all overpriced, obviously. This is my old stuff, right? America's Most Wanted. I got my Mr. Reagan mug, obviously. And all this stuff comes in all these different types of products. This is like wall art, but you can get this on a T-shirt or whatever. But like, I had this idea that leftists have a kind of monopoly on art, like cool looking art. And, I'm a designer, I'm an artist. So I was like, I want to make some cool art for us who support Trump, the extreme MAGA conservatives. So the other day I set out, this took me a while to do this actually, but I used AI to help me create some of these, if I'm honest. But I created all these like images of Trump, which I think are really, really cool. And I showed them to my family and they just ruthlessly mocked me. These are just like very sort of salt of the earth, no BS, country folks essentially from Oregon. Like we're very, we don't like anything kind of like poncy or pretentious. But I do really like this one. This is a Ronald Reagan ad from the 1980s, and it said Reagan for president, let's make America great again. And I took out Reagan's face and I put in Trump's. I thought retrofitting that one was a really good idea. But I honestly I like all of these. I think this one of the profile of him is really cool. My brother mocked me for this pretty ruthlessly. But anyway, if you want any of that stuff, go to the Teespring site and get it. I don't know. I like it. Maybe you guys don't. Maybe you think it's too pretentious or silly or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to make something that looked a little bit artistic and creative. Uh, all right, let's hear what you guys are saying here. Oh, okay. Janie Cavender says that they are cool. All right. As long as I have Janie's approval, I'm happy. That's all I want. Somebody writes, I wish my. Okay, I don't want to read that. Oh, that's sad, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Fred Zeppelin writes, Biden, just say no. That's a really good t-shirt as well. Although I feel like I would have to put Biden's face on it or something, which would be terrible. Jay writes, Mark Dice is great. Mark Dice is great, actually. Mark Dice is solid, man. I love that guy. Amy H writes, hands down, best Trump merch. I'm not kidding. Amy, I love you. I love you, Amy. Billy Crystal writes, 100% Janet, they're legalized reefer and they can legalize Coke 100%. What? Sorry? I don't know what's going on there. I have such a delay on my thing that I can barely, I don't even know what's going on here. B. Bryant write, leftist and art? I think not. Eric Ramsey writes that he needs the mugshot merch. Yeah, that's some good stuff. I really love that mugshot one. I was quite happy with that. America's Most Wanted. Come on, because it works both ways, right? The Democrats want him like they want a criminal, and the Republicans, they want him in office. T. James Boone writes, Trump should hire you to make merch for him. I agree. I agree, man. I'll just take like 5% of whatever the merch is that they sell, and then, I'll have some money. Let's see here. T. James Boone writes, you have to have the mugshot on an actual mug. Oh, no, I do. Of course I do. I call it the mugshot mug, obviously. Yeah, the thing is, not all the products there, like the images are on every product that you can get basically on Teespring. You just have to pick the product. Yeah, Talos 115. I'm sorry to hear it, man. That is tough. I have two brothers and a sister, and let me say, like, one thing that is really nice, like people talk about white privilege, oh, you're a white. I kind of figured out what white privilege is, which is like the history of white people in America and in Europe is pretty good. Like we invented a lot of good stuff. Like we invented the modern systems of government. We invented like a culture that really works really, really well, probably better than any other culture in the world. And just a lot of technology, tons of technology. Like we developed the wheel, right? You go over to like a Ukraine area, and Europeans invented the wheel. So you look back and you see all these great inventors, musicians, artists, these great people, this great civilization. And as a white person, you don't think, oh, my ancestors suck. My genetics suck. My people suck. So I don't think white privilege is thinking I'm awesome. It's just not having to look back and be self-conscious about your race. And I think that some other races, which maybe didn't accomplish so many things technologically or socially or, whatever, they may look back and think, I'm from a sucky genetic pool. But see, the thing is, white people, we don't think that. We don't look at a black person and go, oh, Africans didn't do anything. It's only when you get this like pseudo history people that come out and they go, black people invented everything, and you go, wait, what? That's not true. But we don't have to think about that. We don't have to think about it. So I do think there's a kind of white privilege in just knowing your genetic pool did all these great things. You don't really have to worry about it. But the thing about white people is we don't think that reflects on us personally. We think in terms of like the individual. What did I do today? What did I do this year? What have I done in my lifetime that's awesome? We don't think like, oh, Edison invented the light bulb, therefore I'm awesome. We don't really think like that. But we have the luxury of not having to really worry about that stuff because white people did some awesome things in the world. So we can kind of, there are some bad things as well. So leftists like to focus on that. But in the same way, I think that I really have the privilege of having had an amazing family and still having an amazing family. And I can call whenever I want my brother Nick. I can call my brother John. I can call my sister Katie. I can call my father. I can call my mother. And they're all awesome people. And that is such a big deal. Like having a good family is honestly you're the richest person in the world if you have an awesome family. Really, really. Because I don't even think it's that common anymore. I think it used to be very common, but I don't think it is anymore, which is really sad. But if you lose a family member, especially if they're an awesome person, that's pretty brutal. So I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, let's see here. Steel Fang threw me 50 bucks. Thank you so much in the super chat, and writes, "What the hell is this? Live Mr. Reagan approve." Unfortunately, it's a lot of rambling, but I can give you guys a quick. Stephen Thompson. Oh, that's an interesting question. Stephen Thompson writes, "America first or Christian first?" Yeah, I think I'm Christian first. I know the Muslims have like a kind of issue with that, but I'm a Christian before I'm an American, for sure. Brick Jonesy says Mr. Reagan is out of the loop. Explain, Jonesy. What loop am I out of? You gotta have to let me understand what's going on there. Let's see here. I'm trying to read some stuff. Stephen Thompson, do you agree with DW hosts or Pearly Things and those guys more on the subject of marriage? I haven't been keeping up with that. I know who this. I kind of like. I vaguely understand what you're talking about. Um, yeah, I mean, I think marriage is a good thing. I understand why men aren't getting married so often. The audio is weak. Somebody says, "Is the audio weak, guys?" I'll try. I'll turn it up if it is. Jesus first. That's right. That's right. Um, Fernandez T says, "You made America, so WTF, the best place on earth." I agree with that. Sean Hartel writes, "He's just bitching and moaning. Move along." Darth Salty writes, "Thomas Edison was never invented anything. He was the Elon Musk of his day. Just saying, Elon Musk invented the electric car. Oh, it's just like saying Elon Musk invented the electric car or the rocket ship. They both bought their adoration and glory." That's not quite true. That's not quite true. Edison probably does get a lot more credit than he deserves in terms of inventions because he had a lot of people inventing for him, and he kind of took credit for those things. And he even, I think, probably stole some inventions, which is a little bit shady. But he did invent the light bulb. I mean, a lot of people were trying to invent it, and he came up with the filament that worked the best. That was what he did, in the vacuum. Other people had sort of developed this idea that you can burn something in a vacuum and it'll glow for a long time, but a long time was like an hour, and he needed it to glow for obviously for like weeks, months. It sounds fine, they say. Talos115 says Mark Dice is awesome. That is true. I don't know. I don't know why people keep talking about Mark Dice. This is my show, damn it. No, I love Mark Dice, actually. Jesus says, God writes, "When are you going to get married and have wonderful children? The audio has a lot of noise, like you were talking through Kleenex." That's very strange. Huh, I don't know how to fix that. Sorry, guys. I could turn it up, though. "How did you lose weight?" says Sheila May. Okay, I will do a video on this. The reason I haven't is because I want to be able to do the video without a shirt on. I mean, I'm not saying I will, but I'm saying I want to be able to do that and not feel like I don't look good. You know what I mean? Like, they have these influencers that are so fit, they do every video without their shirt on, like these bodybuilder guys and stuff. I'm not at that level. I don't have that level of body fat, and I can't seem to get from I would say something like 15% body fat, which is like the lowest I think I'm able to get to, down to like 12. I think if I get down to like 12% body fat, then I will do a whole show on my method for getting fit. And I will say that when I was quite big, the biggest I weighed was 230. I did keto and intermittent fasting. I don't really recommend keto for women, but for men, the keto really helped to reduce the appetite. For women, what you got to do is you got to find a diet that is sustainable. Maybe it's just a low calorie diet. Maybe you just lose the fats or something, and the sugars, obviously, as much sugars as you can, and just stick with that. And because you need something that allows you to not eat for like a day at a time. And then some people do, every other day they'll fast like the full day, and then the next day they'll eat, whatever it is, 3,000 calories, and then they'll not eat again the next day. So they'll kind of binge and then fast. And then other people, like what I was doing, is more your standard intermittent fasting, where I would eat at a certain time every day, and I just have that window. I think that really worked really well for me. And then occasionally I do a day where I just wouldn't eat, and I think that works to like shrink your stomach a little bit. So I was doing that for a long time, and I was definitely doing keto. I mean, I was pretty strict keto for a long time, and I got down to a weight that I liked, but then it became very difficult because I was still eating too much fat. When you're on keto, you do eat a lot of fat, and so my second phase was to reduce the fat that I was eating, and that helped a lot because the fat calories are very high. So that helped a lot. And then I got down very thin. But the problem is working, man. When I start working and I don't focus so much on the diet, I kind of get a little bit fat again. But now, because I'm traveling in Asia, what I'm doing is I'm playing a game called paddleball. Or paddle. It's called paddle. You really have to be active if you want to get down even lower. But I'll get into all that stuff when I do the video. But there's different phases. I think there's different kinds of diets for different body fat percentages. Like, if you're really, really big, there's one diet that'll work for you relatively well. Once you lose that first amount of fat, once you get down quite a bit, you have to then switch and find the next thing that works. And I think that's a trick that a lot of people don't realize, is that the same things that you're doing when you're 400 pounds isn't going to maybe work when you're, 250, and the things that are going to work when you're 250 are not the same things that are going to work when you're 190 or 180. So I think you got to change it like that. All right, Restless Dreams writes, my favorite YouTuber. Well, thank you so much, Restless Dreams. I love doing YouTube. It's like the best job in the world. I get to travel. I get to examine the news, examine politics, and try to figure out what's going on, try to speculate, and try to figure out what the truth is. To me, that's the most important thing. Figure out what the truth is. I believe that Tucker Carlson does that, even though I don't always agree with him on everything. Certainly, I know a lot of people get, like, I've seen in the comments, like, say bad things about Sebastian Gorka. Let me tell you, this guy's one of my best friends in the whole sphere of political influencers. I have a few close friends that are pretty big in terms of, like, political analysts, YouTubers, this kind of stuff. He's probably my best friend of all those people. I love that guy to death. And let me tell you, he cares deeply about the country. All right, I don't know. People say, "Oh, he's a shill for Israel" or something like. I don't know what nonsense people think. They got pickleball. Jesus is God says pickleball. Definitely not pickleball. I'm not playing pickleball. But yeah, Sebastian Gorka. Honestly, like, and he has some of the best stuff. Like, I wish I had enough time in the day to listen to his radio show every day, because his stuff is some of the best stuff you can find. If you're listening to Sebastian Gorka, you are one of the best informed Americans that there is. I'm not joking. I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. Like, that's true. All right, Jesus is God writes, pickleball, no. I'm not playing pickleball. It's a game called Paddle, P-A-D-E-L. It's very big in Asia, primarily among Europeans here in Asia. And because a lot of Asians, especially in the poorer countries, they don't have enough money to go to, like, a sports club or whatever. So just everybody at the paddle courts that I go to, they're all either Russian or Australian or something like that. A few Americans. And this game paddle, it's really fast. So you guys should look it up on YouTube. It's like tennis. It's like a mix between tennis and racquetball. And, like, there's glass on the back, like behind the tennis court, essentially. And you're kind of in a cage. And you play, and the balls don't go as fast as tennis, but they bounce off the back wall, and then you can still hit it. And it's really tough. Like, I mean, you're running the whole time, so it's like really intense cardio. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a little bit of swimming, and of course I'm going to the gym like normal, and I'm trying to eat well. Gosh, you guys. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, not pickleball. Definitely no. Mr. Nice Guy says he was not awesome 4 years ago. He was in a bunker. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about Trump, or I don't know if you're talking about? Yeah, I guess you're talking about Trump. I don't know what that means. He was in a bunker. What the heck are you talking about? Dave Whitley says pickleball is fun like racquetball. Look, I can't say crap about pickleball because I know 90% of you love probably pickleball, but I hate it, and I'll tell you why I hate it. Because the damn ball is like a wiffle ball, and it's just so cheap and crappy. And I love tennis. But this game paddle is a nice sort of like something else. It's not really like pickleball. Okay, let's see here. The Herald likes fart sausage's name. Fat sausage would be another interesting name. Let's see here. Okay, so this Selena girl says, appear on Timcast. You know, it's funny. I used to know somebody who worked for Tim Pool, and so we were connected, and, like, I communicated with Tim a little bit. He knows who I am, but I don't know. I don't think he likes me, if I'm honest. I don't really know why. He's never asked me on the show. He's had a lot of my friends on the show, but I've never been asked to be on the show. I don't know. I respect Tim Pool. I think he's really, really smart. I don't watch his show because I can't stand how he speaks. I don't like how he speaks. I don't like Ben Shapiro's voice. There's some guys I just don't like the sound of their voice, which sounds stupid. I mean, that's really not a good reason not to watch somebody because Tim Pool is very high IQ, very smart guy. Let's see here. Slam God, got a boogie. Mr. Reagan, enjoy the day wherever you are. See you again soon. Oh, Slam God. Slam God is what he's called. Okay. Good day, Slam God. Thank you for being on the show. F-Bomb writes, being poor and Asian, that's a pad-in. Paddling? That's a paddling? Okay. I understand that that's a joke of some kind. I just don't understand it. Oh, there was one that looked pretty good, and I think I missed it. Still going status with the Russian gal, says Sean Hartley. No. We divorced like 2 years ago. I never talk about my personal life or anything like that. So, yeah, I've had a few girlfriends since then. I dated a girl from Belarus. I dated a Swedish girl for about a month in Sweden. In fact, the reason I'm in Asia right now is because this Swedish girl she was like 6 feet tall. She's a very tall girl. She was 22, and when we were dating, I was 43. So that made it a little bit of weird. But she was like 6 foot, so when I met her, I thought she was older. I thought she was like 28. Turns out she was 22. That was probably not so good. But anyway, so while we're dating, I was like, where do you want to go? Do you want to go somewhere in the world? And she's like, oh, I'd love to go to Asia. I'd love to travel around Asia to different places there, Thailand, stuff like this. So I was like, okay, all right, that sounds cool. Maybe I'll take you there. Maybe we'll go on a trip together. And then we broke up. I was like, this is not going to work. But then after we broke up, I'm like, I kind of want to go to Asia now. So I just went by myself. And I'm absolutely loving it. It's amazing here. Guys, I ride a motorcycle literally everywhere. Literally everywhere. Here in Asia, you can't really get around on the streets. It's too busy. And if you jump in a car, you're just going to be swarmed by motorcycles. It's going to be really hard to get through. I mean, they ride scooters really, but I like motorcycles better. So I ride a motorcycle everywhere, and it's nuts. I'm going to upload soon. I'm going to upload a video of just me driving the streets out here because it is I don't know. It's mental. Trying to get through the streets out here is just it's terrifying actually. But you get used to it pretty quick, and it's quite a lot of fun. But riding a motorcycle everywhere in these kind of streets, it's mental. Steel Fang writes, "Are you streaming on something else?" ? I don't believe so. I don't believe I'm streaming on any other. I think you mean on a different platform. I think I'm just doing YouTube. I should have set it up for something else, but honestly, I'm not very good at streaming. I got to get better at that. Eric Ramsey writes, "That's an excellent take on Pool." Yeah, you know what the problem with Tim Pool is that he used to be a leftist, and I don't remember where he grew up. I know I read it somewhere, but he's got that sort of way of speaking like leftists speak, and I can't stand it. But he's freaking smart guy. He's very, very smart. Yeah, Theseus writes, you're cool and all, but the way you speak, I just can't take it. Listen, if I met Tim Pool and we got along as friends, I would get over the way he speaks. But as it is, I'm not going to watch his show. He drives me nuts. And the hat, what's up with the hat? Okay, you're bald. Just go with it, guy. That's a paddling is a Simpsons joke, according to F-Bomb. Okay, I was unaware of that. I apologize. Robert Neal says, I can't stand Gorka, but you like him. Okay, somebody please explain why anyone doesn't like Sebastian Gorka. He's got the best voice of any of us, okay? And he's got the best guests of any of us, and he's got the best takes of any of us. I don't understand why he wouldn't like Gorka. He's amazing. And honestly, and let me just tell you guys from real life, from I'm not going to give you the details of hanging out with Gorka in private. I think that's a little, but he's a very good man. Let me just say he's a very good man. Growing up, I was lucky, like I said earlier in the show, I grew up in a very good family with very good people. And so when I go out in the world and I don't see people who have a sense of duty to God, who have a sense of duty to their fellow man, I'm saddened by that. And when I meet somebody who does seem to have that same duty, that same sense that I have, he basically grew up in the same way that I grew up. And so I have so much respect for that guy. All right, let's see here. Brick Jonesy says, "Okay, fam, love you. Keep up the good work." All right, see you later, man. It was good to have you on here. Uh, Joe Baseball 17 writes, "Gorka is awesome. Always has been." Boomka 175 says, "Gorka is awesome." I agree as well. Um, so Liberty writes, "What's wrong with how Tim speaks?" I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with it. I just don't like it. It's a rude. It's very rude for me to say that. I shouldn't say that actually. Um, let's see here. Clues says it seems that seems like you would be the best channel to do that type of video on the South Korean doctor strikes, with the opinions of the doctors and that government and the citizens confused. I don't know what that is, but I'll check that out. That's interesting. Eric Ramsey writes, and he's very good to Israel. And Billy Crystal writes, of Hungarian descent. That's true. He's of Hungarian descent. That's accurate. Mo writes, Mr. Reagan, I have that shirt. Looks great. Oh, thank you so much. I quite like this one. I have a few sort of dress shirts that I brought along on my travels just for this show. Chris Harden writes, he's jealous of Tim's intellect. Well, if I was jealous of his intellect, I probably wouldn't say that he's got a very high IQ. Have you ever noticed that people who are jealous of you, or people who are jealous, like when I was a kid, when I was like in junior high, I had this friend who was an artist. He used to draw, and I was like a little bit better than him at drawing, objectively. Like I was better at making clay models, I was better at drawing, I was better at art a little bit. And anytime he would draw anything that I liked, I would be like, "Oh, that's fantastic. That's really good." He never once said that about me. Anytime he would look at my stuff, even if it was like very obviously better than what he was doing, he'd be like, "I mean, it's okay. It's not great." I think if you're jealous of somebody, it's very hard to acknowledge their value. But no, I think. Final Breath says Tim Pool is a bundle of sticks. I actually understand what you mean. I don't. Is that true? I don't think so. He's got a girlfriend, I thought. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that, to people's personal lives. Dave Whitley says, I dated a chick like that. Yeah, it's really annoying. Like if you have somebody, especially that you're close to, who can't acknowledge anything good that you do ever because there's some kind of inferiority, sense of inferiority. Oh God, it's annoying. It's just like, come on, get some confidence. That's why I always try to like talk people up and try to give people confidence, because I feel like if you have confidence, true confidence deep down, you're a better person. So I'm always trying, and on the show as well, I encourage people to be as confident as they possibly can. Let's see here. F-Bomb says, Ben Carson or Ramaswamy for VP? Yeah, I like Ramaswamy. Ben Carson's really dry. I don't know. Ben Carson is a tough guy to listen to. I also don't like the way Ben Carson talks. I do like Ben Carson. He's obviously a genius. But yeah, he's so boring. I'd much rather have, who's that guy? Tim Scott. I love Tim Scott. I think if you want a black dude, Tim Scott's your guy, I think. But yeah, I like a lot of folks. Robert Neal says, with Gorka, he just seems arrogant and full of himself. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's a humble guy. I mean, he knows his value. He knows he's got a great voice. He knows he's a confident guy. He's a very, very intelligent guy. Let's see. Why did you kill off Mr. Pagan from Brady? I actually have a series of videos that I'm going to do shortly. This was an idea that I had a while back, but I just need to shoot it because I have all the scripts laid out, of a conversation between Mr. Reagan and Mr. Pagan. So these are going to be very short. They're going to be like a minute, 2 minutes, and it's just Mr. Reagan and Mr. Pagan talking. And I'm going to put those out shortly, but I'm not going to put it on the Mr. Pagan channel. I think I'm going to kill that channel. It just never did particularly well. So I'm going to start putting them on this channel, and I think it'll be a bit of fun. This wasn't supposed to be about, this video wasn't supposed to be about Gorka or Tim Pool. It was supposed to be, or any of these other guys we were talking about. It's really supposed to be about why Trump is awesome. So if you guys can throw in some stuff about that, I would love it. I love that you're talking about the VP picks. I love that. Let's see here. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. I don't want to talk about Tim Pool anymore. I'm not going to talk about that stuff. Joe Baseball 117 says, or is it just 17? It's hard to tell. I think it's just 17. Joe Baseball 17 says, Ben Carson actually closes his eyes when he talks. Way too cerebral to be Trump's running mate. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think Trump necessarily wants another big personality to outshine him ever, which makes sense. You think it's an ego thing, but it's actually tactically, it's actually very smart. And so Mike Pence was actually a very good choice for Trump. And I don't think Mike Pence is necessarily deep state. I used to think so. I used to think that he was compromised or something. But then I started doing this report on the January 6th stuff. Not January 6th, sorry, the Russian collusion stuff. And, that report that came out from Michael Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi and Alex Gutag. That big report. I started watching some stuff from Dan Bongino. And it occurred to me that it might be possible that some of these folks, like Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton, they might actually believe that Trump is compromised by Putin. Because if John Brennan didn't, actually took them aside and said privately to them, we have evidence of this, we know this for a fact to be true, they may actually have bought it. And certainly somebody like Mike Pence, I could see trusting in the CIA, Because somebody like Brennan could just be in cahoots with Obama and be lying to everybody. But because of his position at the top of the CIA, people believed him, And so I think that some people like Pence could actually, be decent guys. They just, they just genuinely think Trump's compromised, which is a shame that we have people that gullible in public office. But there you go. Elizabeth Peterson says, vice presidents don't typically say much. I don't get why people keep pointing out that he's dry and hard to listen to. He's an amazing person and would be a fantastic pick. Because it's not that we don't love him. It's that they don't say much when they're vice president, but they do say quite a lot when they're campaigning. And you do want somebody with some degree of cachet who can get people excited to vote for the ticket, right? You want somebody that can get you excited to vote for the ticket. In that sense, Pence was a good choice for Trump because Pence was very articulate, even though he was a little bit boring, like maybe Ben Carson would be. No, Nora Charles. Oh, I love that reference. Nora Charles. I love that. If you guys don't know, there was a series of films in the 30s called The Thin Man, and you had Nick and Nora Charles. Nick and Nora Charles. Is that right? Is that their last name? Or is that your actual name? I don't know. Was it Charles is their last name? Nick and Nora something. Anyway, there's some of my favorite films. I'm pretty sure that's their last name. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've seen this. I got to go back and watch them. No, she says, Tim Scott is a rhino. Brian Donalds is stand-up. I don't think Tim Scott is a rhino. Why would you say that? I'm curious why people would think that. Brian Donalds is good for sure. I love that guy as well. But Tim Scott's good. It's funny that we kind of pool all the black conservatives together. But there is something about that, right? There's something interesting about it. Because the thing is, I actually have said this before. If you're a black conservative, I have a lot of respect for you automatically. Because you are going against, a kind of a huge population of people, not just black people, but just leftists generally, who are going to hate you. Like, that going in, that as soon as you, become outwardly conservative or, a Trump supporter especially, people are going to hate you. And so they're really stand-up people. I think black conservatives, that's a tough gig. Talos115 says, I LOL'd so hard with Mr. Pagan. Well, you're going to again. I'm going to do some Mr. Pagan stuff. Sheila May says, are you in Thailand? I was born there. No, I'm not currently in Thailand, but that is one of the places that I expect to be going soon. I'm in that general region. I can tell you guys where I am, but it doesn't really. I'm in Bali. If you want to know about Bali, look it up. Fantastic place, really interesting place. But that's where I am currently. But it's what I found when I came to Bali is that it smells like smoke everywhere here because they do field burning. They burn the trash out behind their businesses and their houses, and they also burn like incense here for I think religious purposes. And it occurred to me that the smell of smoke is something that we would have experienced throughout human history, right up until the Renaissance, maybe even to the beyond the industrial age into the information age. Right now, America and Europe is so sanitized that you don't smell the effects of human activity in the world, and I think that's actually bad. I think there's something good about being able to smell the smoke of human machination. But it's probably healthier to just smell nature, or nothing. But I do like the smell of smoke out here. It's kind of cool. Kimberly Ashcroft, thank you very much. She sent a super chat. She's written, so glad to catch you live. Love your work. Hope you've been doing well. Much love from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And she writes, Roll Tide. I don't really know what Roll Tide is, but I love the rest of your message. Kimberly Ashcroft, thank you so much for the shout out there. And yeah, I don't do live streams anymore all that much. I have been planning to do a live stream maybe once or twice a week. I don't know what you guys think about that. I was thinking about having another couple guys on, and we would call it Toxic Masculinity, but it would be here on the Mr. Reagan Show, and we would just do twice a week maybe a live stream and talk about all the stuff that's going on in the news. And, I want to bring on a couple of funny guys and just make it a little bit funny, a little bit like, what do you call it? Like Gutfeld's show, a little bit something like that, where we're kind of making jokes about the news and having a bit of a laugh, but also saying things that are profound, if we think of anything like that. Let's see. Bay Area Cuddy says, Mr. Reagan, have you seen Larry Elder's video about the Central Park Five? No, I have not. I'll look into that. I find the Central Park Five story to be somewhat interesting. Heather M says, do you live in Bali now? No. I'm traveling. I decided to do the digital nomad thing where I just went and saw the world. So I'm kind of traveling around. I went to Europe. I went to Sweden. I went to Poland. I traveled around a little bit, and now I'm in Asia, trying to check out Asia. I'll probably go back to Europe soon. Let's see here. S. Hannabaum says, start a family. Well, I have to have a woman for that. I have no women. If any women want to jump on board, maybe we can start that up. Okay. Philip writes, Brian Donalds for VP. I like Brian Donalds. I don't know if he has the name recognition yet everywhere. I do love that guy. I'm a big fan of Tim Scott. I don't know why Tim Scott didn't actually do better in the... I don't really know why he ran for president. But Kimberly Ashcroft says, yes, I would love to see you live stream again. Okay, well, maybe we'll do something like once or twice a week here. Jay Howard says, love your show, man. Please show your watch. I want to order one. If we're going up in smoke and this garbage ruling over us, I want one of those watches on my wrist. Yeah, this is like one of the Apple watches. I don't know. It's my old one broke, so I just went into the store and grabbed this one. This is when I was in Hawaii. And it's good if you're trying to get fit. Some people use the Garmin. There's a few different ones that you can get. They're quite good. This is great. People say that they like it. I mean, it's good just to keep track of your fitness. So any kind of fitness tracker, you don't have to have an expensive one. This is pretty expensive. I don't know why I bought this. I don't know, because you wear it all the time, right? So you want something that's like, I don't know, it looks kind of good. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. It's all right. It's good. I like it. Let's see here. I like the start a family message, though. I do like that. Let's see. Helixa says, what are your predictions on Gavin Newsom? I agree with everybody. I think Gavin Newsom is desperately trying to run for president. I think there is some expectation that maybe Joe Biden will bow out and he'll step in. He's the obvious person to do it. I think that he's potentially going to be a terrible president. But I don't know. I don't know. I think he's probably one of these guys that is owned by the powers that be. I think he's probably pretty corrupt. I think that they fix elections in California. So I wouldn't want him to be president, but I do think he's got a good chance of doing relatively well. I don't think he could win against Trump. I don't think anybody can. I think Trump at this point is a done deal. DeFreak writes, and Pompeo doesn't need the spotlight. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I lost your... I'm trying to get to everybody, or as many people as I can here. AP gave me a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, AP. You are awesome. Can I... What is this? There's like a heart thing. Can I click that? I don't know what that means. Okay. I should have done that for all the super chats. Sorry, guys. I just saw that. Let's see. What does this do? I can click here. Nope. That's it. Okay. Oh, that's cool, though, that I can do that. Okay, how do I click off that? I want to read this. All right, he writes, haha, if Tim Pool is as smart as you say, he probably realizes you are baiting him to get on his show. Maybe just ask him instead of the passive BS. I like your channel and his equally. Well, I want to come back at you, but you did give me $10, so it's difficult. I'll be nice to you. But No, I'm not baiting him to be on his show. I don't have. I'm okay not being on Tim Pool's show. It would be nice. He's got a really good show. I mean, his show is like a huge, huge show. Um, he's done very well with YouTube. I think when he started out, because he was a leftist, he made a lot of friends at YouTube. Like YouTube, the people at YouTube liked him, and so they helped promote his show. He got really, really big. I've never really had that opportunity. YouTube has always had their boot on my neck, so it's always been a little bit like, of an impossible uphill battle for me. So that's never really going to happen. I'm never going to be like really that big. I don't think my channel is, but I do like to do this as a job, and I like to. So Niti1324 says, "What are your thoughts on Carrie Lake for VP?" I met Carrie Lake. I'm going to be perfectly honest about Carrie Lake. I got the sense she was super nice to me, and we had a great little chat. Very short, but very nice. She was very, very amiable, very, very charismatic person. But my sense from her, and I got the same thing from my brother because he was with me when I met her, is that she is a very ambitious person. And let me just say, that is a kind of an off-putting thing when you meet somebody and they're very obviously ambitious. And because nothing comes across as super authentic. She comes across very much in person, she comes across as very much a politician, which I don't like. And I think she was probably the same way when she was a reporter. She was just a very ambitious person. And like, fair enough, I don't think there's anything wrong with ambition, but it is something that's a little bit ugly when you meet somebody who's that ambitious. But I do like her. I love her positions. She's super charismatic. I think she'll be with us for a long time in terms of being in the public eye. Let's see. Two Dogs Mike D writes, he obviously does not have the name recognition because his name is Byron Donalds, not Brian Donalds. Did I say Brian Donalds? That has nothing to do with my lack of acknowledgement of what his name is. It has to do with my inability to read. I just I just mess up sometimes. I got a little bit of like Joe Biden going on up here. Let's see here. Brady says, does your insider have info on Trump's VP pick as a Pence type or MAGA? Yeah, it's a little bit like Pence, but not how Pence is perceived now, but more like how Pence was perceived before he went in. This person who's potentially going to be the VP that I was told is going to be Trump's VP. I was told this is going to be Trump's VP, and let me say it's nobody that you've heard of, speculated about at all. Like, this is somebody that you don't even know about. In fact, I have a video script in my list of potential scripts that I'm going to make videos about called "Who is XY?" Like, who is this person? And I'm gathering information on them to do a potential video. But this person is not somebody you know the name of, or you've heard their name vaguely, but it's not somebody who's really in the public eye. It's somebody but they seem like a very solid person. I don't know if I'd say they're MAGA just because they're just not super outspoken like, say, like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, but they're a solid conservative, I believe. Let's see here. M.O. writes, Tim Scott's support for Ukraine is his problem. Thoughts on Gabbard? I love Tulsi Gabbard. I believe that she is a Republican. She used to be a Republican. She used to be like a hardcore pro-life Republican. Her father's a strong Republican. But I think because she comes from Hawaii, it's basically impossible to run for public office in Hawaii without being a Democrat. So I think that's why she switched. I think she's the one person in the whole country who is a dino, right? Democrat in name only. I know she switched out of the Democrat Party, but at the time, I think she was a dino. And there isn't really, that's not really a thing. And I talked to my brother about this, and he made a good point, which I don't know why I didn't think of this, but the reason there are no dinos really is because Republicans don't lie. Conservatives, we're not that interested in the subterfuge and lying. We're very open and transparent and honest. That's kind of our thing, So we don't really get dinos in the Democrat Party. Oh, I gotta like all these. That's cool. They have this like thing. I'm gonna love all your comments. I'll go back and do the other ones, but let's see here. Philip, hello, Philip. Thank you very much for the $10. Philip writes, Trump has to pick a VP who the deep state hates more than him, or else they will try to take him out. Now, here's the thing. There's a couple of theories about why the deep state might not want to take Trump out. For one thing, there's this concept called the dead man switch. I think it's called the dead man switch. And the concept is that Trump has a lot of dirt on a lot of people in D.C., and if he were to be killed, that stuff would go public. Uh, that's one thought. You know, the binder that they say that Trump has, that the reason that they raided Mar-a-Lago, some people speculate, is because Trump has this binder that has evidence that would put people away, put people in prison. And so that's sort of his leverage to not be executed. Elizabeth Peterson gave me $3. Thank you so much, Elizabeth Peterson. You are awesome. Yeah. So the other theory is that, and this is my theory. Nobody else has speculated about this. It's just my theory. Is that they're okay with Trump being president for a short time, so that they can totally demonize him. And by demonize him, what I mean is make his presidency a tragedy and try to convince the American people that he is in fact a dictator. Now, how do you do this? Terrorist attack. I made a video where I predicted that it's possible that Trump's elected, the deep state, the most sinister people within the deep state could actually be planning a terrorist attack. The border's wide open. Terrorists from all over the world could be here already. They could be communicated with by people pretending to be, you know, whatever, Al-Qaeda or something, but really be people within the deep state, maybe even the FBI, something like that, and they're going to trigger these people, you know, these sleeper cells, to go commit acts of terrorism all over the country, maybe all at once. And then what happens? Trump has to instate these emergency actions. He has to declare martial law. He has to do these things that people are going to say in the media, oh, look, he is a dictator, he's a dictator. And if people are like freaked out by that and think Trump really is a dictator and think, oh, look what happened on Trump's watch, then they may in fact be tricked into believing, okay, we can't ever vote for somebody like Trump ever again. We've got to continue to vote for whoever the media tells us to. That's the safe bet. I think this is a calculation on the part of some members of the deep state. I don't know if it'll come to fruition, but I think that this is in their sort of like list of plans. And it sounds completely crazy. It sounds completely off the wall. But I've speculated about some stuff that I thought was crazy in the past, and it came true. You know, I said a long time ago when they did the Mar-a-Lago raid, I said, I think they're going to maybe take Trump to court. I wasn't even sure that that was true because it seemed so crazy, but all signs pointed to that. And turns out what happened. Yeah, they took Trump to court in 4 separate cases, 91 counts. Crazy. All right, Dr. BBR says, love your channel. Keep up the great work. Can you please reach out to your MAGA friend, Loza Alexander, who sung Let's Go Brandon? I heard he may have cancer. Sorry, I heard he may have cancer. I hope I'm wrong. He does have cancer. It's quite tough. If you want to check out Loza, he's on Twitter all the time. I do text him occasionally, wishing him well. You know, it's a tough thing. I really hope he beats it. I've prayed for the guy. And yeah, Loza Alexander, he wrote the Let's Go Brandon song, the really popular one. It's a pretty funny song. You guys should go listen to that again. That's a great song. Loza Alexander is a good guy. He's a good guy. I'm really, really rooting for him and hoping that he beats this thing. The Popcast jumped in. Hey, the Popcast. I just did a live stream for them yesterday. He says, late night, baby. Yeah. Well, not for me. For me, it's just afternoon. It's about 1:30 now, and so I'll probably be jumping off here soon. But yeah, I love this. I love this interaction with the fans. I don't get to do this so much. I like to keep it topical, but you guys keep going off the subject. But I like that. I think it's a bit of fun. I think it's a bit of fun to go all over the place here. All right, the Herald jumped in. The Herald for $2, $1.99. Thank you, the Herald. I'll go ahead and like that. They write, Tulsi supports the execution of babies in the womb and is anti-Second Amendment. I'm not sure how true that is. I would like to have like a one-on-one personal conversation with Tulsi Gabbard because she used to be very strongly pro-life. And I think when she flipped to be a Democrat so she could win a position in Congress, out of Hawaii, I think at that point she went pro-choice because I think she felt she had to for political reasons. But I don't know if that's truly what she believes deep down. I would love to have a chat with her personally and talk about that. Pop Culture Unleashed. If you guys aren't subscribed to the Popcast, let's see here. What are your channels, man? Let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking for him. Yeah, the Popcast, I guess, is their main channel, right? I think so. And then he's got Pop Culture Unleashed. He gave me $5. Thanks, man. Shout out. You guys got to subscribe to this guy. If you like pop culture at all, the Popcast is great. They have these great documentaries, fun live streams. He said, I had to members only our stream from Monday. YouTube dropped the yellow check mark on it. You're now 2 for 2 on my channel. So every time I go on his channel, they demonetize his videos. I do say some a little bit, somewhat provocative things. Let's see here. Nate Curtis writes, I'm Latino and I support deportation. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you don't support deportation, you're just not like paying attention. I don't know why. The thing is, like, we have to clean up the country in the sense that, like, we have to know who's here. Sheila May writes, Zoraida Chris, Mr. Reagan, is smoking. I assume she means smoking hot. Totally accurate. Thank you. I don't quite know what you mean smoking. I'm just going to assume that that's a compliment about me being very, very handsome. Founding Stock New Zealand writes, hi, Chris. Hi, Founding Stock New Zealand. Two Dogs Mike D, $10. He says, that doesn't sound crazy at all. Let no crisis go to waste. Indeed, Hillary Clinton loves saying that. Never let a crisis go to waste. He writes, very easy to capitalize on when they are creating crises in the first place. Yeah, I mean, they tend to create these political events, right? Like January 6th, I believe, was a manufactured crisis, right? And then they capitalize on it. Okay, I got the little family text dialogue going on there. It's nice to have a family group chat, isn't it? It's kind of fun. My parents are on there, my brothers, my sister. But yeah, Two Dogs, Mike, I 100% agree with you. I'm glad you think it's not crazy. I do hope I'm wrong, though. I do hope I'm wrong. I do desperately, desperately hope I'm wrong with that one. The reason I made that video is because I wanted everybody... I believe that if everybody predicts or suspects that the deep state might plan a terrorist attack, that their animosity for Trump will not manifest in the way that they want it to from such a thing. I think people will actually get behind Trump for something like that. Selena Girl 69 writes, did you ever get a YouTube plaque? No, I haven't. And you know what? It drives me crazy. I'm gonna submit for that again because that's BS. HC gave me $1.99. Thank you so much, HC. And she wrote, wrote a Trump rap. Would you like to listen sometime? I absolutely would like to listen sometime. Contact me in my Twitter DMs. That's the easiest way to contact me personally. I don't always check my Twitter DMs, but I check it enough. Or I'm at the Reaganesque Conservative at gmail.com, which I think is actually, you can find it if you go into the About section of my YouTube page, I think. Let's see here. What else we got? Hybrid Eagle. I missed a super chat there. $20. Well, thank you so much, Hybrid Eagle. Shout out to Hybrid Eagle, everybody, because they didn't say anything. They just gave me like a little sticker, which is quite cool. But I'm sorry I missed that. But yeah, I'm here now. I'm here for you now, Hybrid Eagle. All right, let's read some of these other. Let's see here. Selena Girl writes, are you a YouTube enemy? Yes, I am a YouTube enemy. Yeah, I tried to get a YouTube plaque, and they basically said, we can't give you one. And I said, why? Because I have the number of subscribers necessary for a YouTube plaque. And they go, we can't tell you that. You're just not allowed to get it. And for a long time, I wasn't able to get my merchandise presented on the banner underneath my videos. I think that that's now like universally applied to everybody on YouTube, so everybody can do it. But yeah, for a long time, I was excluded from that. They wouldn't let me do that. There's a lot of things that are a little bit shady about YouTube that they don't like me so much. Pop Culture Unleashed writes, something honestly makes less money. I don't know what that is. That's not for me, obviously. Fat Kid 27 writes, watching from Santa Clara, California. I like Santa Clara, California. Actually, I've been around to different towns around California, and they're not all LA. Okay, guys, there's a lot of California that's actually quite cool, quite conservative. People are quite good. Orange County, for the most part, is Republican. Not everywhere, but not Laguna Beach probably. But let's see here. Sienna, $20. Thank you, Sienna. Writes, what have you been working on? Posts have been sporadic. Yes, you're right. I had a couple of projects that were a lot more work than I expected them to be, so I'm posting a lot less than I was, but I will be posting a lot this month, a lot, a lot. So you're going to see a lot of videos. I've just done one about the Google Gemini problem. I don't know if you guys heard about that. I'm sure you have. Basically, Google Gemini, which is their AI chatbot, was it had this feature where you could actually ask it to create an image for you, and it would create a beautiful image of whatever it is that you ask. If you said, "Give me an image of Shrek," it would give you an image of Shrek. If you say, "Give me a spotted, horse," it would give you a spotted horse. But if you asked it specifically for white people, it refused to present images of white people, which is hilarious. So I go through the whole history of people exploring this phenomenon up until the point that YouTube or that Google just like basically deleted this option on Gemini to create images of human beings. It won't create images of human beings at the moment. But I mean, it was pretty funny. I mean, it's a pretty funny, unbelievable situation. I got that going on. I have what else do I have? I just made 4 videos. Oh, there's one about the guy who was arrested. I think his name's Steve Baker, from the Blaze. He's a reporter. He was just arrested by by the feds essentially for being there on January 6th. Even though he was a journalist, he was a reporter there, and he's a well-known journalist. It's not like he's just some like kind of random dude that was there on January 6th. They picked him up, and before he was arrested, he had exposed this big scandal that really exonerated the Oath Keepers, because the Oath Keepers were really demonized by the Biden White House, by the January 6th commission or whatever they did, the committee, the commission, I don't know what they were, but they went out and they were basically like, this was an insurrection, see if we can prove it. Well, a lot of what they said was a lie, and Stephen Baker exposed this lie in one particular instance where this police officer, I think his name was Dunn, something Dunn. Michael Dunn? Mike Dunn? No, I think it was something else. Harry Dunn. Harry Dunn was his name. He comes out and he says, oh, the Oath Keepers were like taunting me and calling me racist names. And this other police officer said, yes, I saw him, and he was being essentially verbally assaulted by these Oath Keepers. Well, the Oath Keepers said, no. We were actually fending off more hostile protesters. We were defending this guy, Harry Dunn. And Harry Dunn and this other guy go, no. They were being hostile toward Harry. Well, now they have the footage. The footage has been released, and we see, in fact, the Oath Keepers aren't going after Harry Dunn. And this guy, Steve Baker, he exposed it all. They lied about these guys. They're in prison unjustly. He exposed this, and what happens? The FBI goes and arrests him. We live in a police state. We live in an authoritarian regime. You don't have to worry about it becoming authoritarian when Trump gets elected. We're already there, guys. All right, M.O. gave me $2. Thank you, M.O. And he wrote, been to the Reagan Library. Went 2 months ago. It was awesome. I have been to the Reagan Library. I actually went on my birthday one year. That was back when I was married. I said, this is what I want to do for my birthday. I want to go to the Reagan Library. I'm Mr. Reagan on YouTube. I want to check it out. And it was amazing. I highly recommend it if you're in California, going there. Let's see here. Bay Area Cuddy writes, are you following Dr. Steve Turley? I'm not. I've seen some videos, but I'll check him out. Let's see here. Sailing Star Catcher, $5. I'll go ahead and like that. That's nice. Thank you so much. I got to like all these. I forgot that the liking thing is an option now. That's very cool. Sailing Star Catcher writes, you need to investigate Robin Voss, okay, Wisconsin Assembly Speaker, corrupt anti-Trumper facilitating election fraud, 5 court cases lost. I have sources for you. Okay, Sailing Starcatcher, slide into my DMs on Twitter. Let's chat. That sounds like a great story. Stealing Fang, $20. Thank you so much, Stealing Fang. Or sorry, Stealing. Sorry, I'm reading the other one. Okay, I'm getting confused. I'm not dyslexic, I promise. Steel Fang. There we go. Steel Fang, $20, writes, what's happening to Trump is being done by tyrants. Just like me, the tree of liberty is thirsty. Wow. Okay, I'm not gonna comment on that last bit. But you're right. It is being done by tyrants. That is 100% true. And what happens to tyrants in America? Well, I can't talk about that on this YouTube channel, but I will say something must be done. We need to fix this country. And I do think we can save the country. I am optimistic. I've been writing about this. You know, I wrote the other day, there was some chick that posted this video that was completely crazy, saying that she was like a Therian. A Therian, it's like a new way of saying that you're, what they used to call it? They called it other kin. Other kin. And other kin is this idea of like people who think they're animals. It's like transgender, but they're like trans species. They're like, oh, I'm a wolf. I'm a wolf. They'll like run around the forest. It's like really weird. But it occurred to me that this is what happens when society becomes too comfortable. When you don't really have to work, you know, you come from a family where your parents have a bit of money and you're like, you don't really, or even if you don't have that much money, but you can live off like nothing. Like you make enough, like you make minimum wage, it's enough to eat. You live in a crappy apartment and you're like comfortable. You can order Uber Eats. You don't have to move and you just get fat and, you know, pretend to be a wolf. I don't know. That becomes your hobby. Like this to me is the pinnacle of luxury, being able to pretend you're a wolf. You know, like if you go to a poor country, they don't have time to pretend they're wolves. You know, they gotta go make the money to survive. And so I don't know. I feel like we're on a downward trajectory just because we're so rich, so comfortable in America. But but I do have hope. I do think we can fix it. I do think there are enough good people that care enough about the country, enough about the world, enough about their children to make this world great again. Not just America, but the world. And but America is really the center of the world. It really is. So we need to fix America. But I think we can do it. Two Dogs Mike D, $10. Thank you so much, Two Dogs Mike D. Gotta give you a like there. Uh, he writes, you know how they have think tanks with people that do nothing but catalog counter narratives and problems for their solutions? They've been doing this for a long time. It's how they can spin instantly. Oh, you're 100% right. In fact, I think a lot of the attacks on Trump, like I don't know about Russian collusion, because that seems to be like a purely Brennan thing. But like a lot of the stuff that they went after him for, I think this was maybe developed out of think tanks, a lot of it. Washington, D.C. think tanks are a big part of the deep state, you guys. Big part of the deep state. I should do a video on think tanks, because I don't think anybody's done that. I've never seen a video on that. I'm sure somebody has. I'll have to look it up and then copy them. Let's see. Intrinsic Dark, $5. Thank you so much, Intrinsic Dark, writes, if Marxism is so destructive and evil, why don't we forbid anyone identifying as a Marxist from holding any position of power? Will Trump maybe do it? It's interesting. I think historically there may have been laws against being a communist in America. I don't know how much for that I am, because I like the idea of people being able to present their ideas to the world. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not entirely against it, though. Marxism is so unbelievably destructive and evil that I would not be entirely against that. I think Marxism in particular is such a destructive political ideology that we could potentially ban it, and I would be fine with that. I'm not usually for that kind of stuff. I'm a little bit more freedom and liberty and all that kind of thing. Um, Dark Meta, okay, Dark Meta, I gotta read this because this is so funny. It writes, Mr. Reagan, hello, notice me, nerd. I mean, Captain, sorry. What the? Nerd? How dare you? Okay, Mrs. T. Rush, who has been a fan for a long time. I love Mrs. T. Rush. She emails me from time to time. And I appreciate every email that you send. $2. Thanks for doing this stream, Chris. Absolutely. I always love to hear from you. You know that. If you have anything to tell me, I always read your emails. I love it. Let's see here. Helixa writes, Mr. Reagan, Henry Kissinger was the think tank. I don't really understand what that means, but yeah, he was a pretty powerful guy as well. Jesus is God writes, I also been a fan for a long time. Jesus is God. I get a lot of pressure to vote for Biden. The TDS is strong here in Michigan. Oh yeah, that's terrifying. Let's see here. Selena Girl 69 writes, love Mr. Reagan. AOC is evil. I wonder if AOC is evil. I'm always been on the fence about her. Is she evil or is she stupid? You know, she definitely likes the fame. I can tell you that. Dave Whitney writes, Hitler was a socialist. Tick History puts it to bed. Tick History. Maybe I'll check that out. I've never heard of that. Two Dogs Mike, $10. Thanks so much, man. Two Dog Mike's has been like a real boss in this chat here. He writes, that would be amazing if you did a video on the think tanks. I have never once seen or heard anybody mention them before. Keep up the great work, bro, and enjoy your vacation. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, this is not a vacation. This is my life now. I just travel. It's kind of crazy, but I assume at some point I'll find a girl and I'll run back to America, probably go back to Oregon or something. But yeah, the think tank video. I'm gonna have to think hard about that because I think you're right. I've not seen like a big major YouTuber do a video on the think tanks, and the think tanks are hugely powerful part of the deep state. MO, $2. Full transition to Rumble, you belong there. I have tried to move to Rumble. I've tried using Rumble. It's very hard. I can't seem to get a following on Rumble, and also their interface is really bad. I wish they would fix Rumble a little bit to make it a little bit easier for somebody like me. If I could get in touch with, I mean, I know I can. I can go through some people and get in touch with like the top people over at Rumble. But so far we haven't worked that out. Mrs. T. Rush, thank you for the smiley faces. Let's see here. Justin Wilson says, Tick History is a great channel. I'll have to check out Tick History. I've never seen it. I almost want to write it down right now. Oh yeah, okay, so my family's all writing me still. I don't know what's going on with the family. I have to check that after the live stream. Let's see here. Still reading these things. Selena Girl 69 says AOC like Greta is stuck in adult adolescence. Yeah, one thing I've always noticed about AOC, this is from way back, is that she says things that are wrong with an insane level of confidence. Right? It's like no, everybody thinks grass is green, but grass is pink, you guys. Grass is pink. I don't know, like, people don't really realize that, but it's a real thing. Grass is pink. Like, she'll just say the most insane things. Like, I think she once said that the reason that crime has gone up, like the crime statistics have gone up in big cities, and especially New York, where she's from, is that people are so hungry, they're starving to death, so they're stealing bread to feed their children. And she said this with such confidence. It was kind of adorable, really. If you think of AOC like a stupid puppy, she's kind of cute. It's like, oh, that's sweet. That's sweet that you're so dumb. But she's a member of Congress, which is terrifying, actually. Helixa writes, I'm sorry I couldn't tip you. You're doing great, thank you. No, you guys, don't tip. Please don't tip. If you don't have any money, don't tip. If you have money, send me tons of money. But if you don't have any money, I don't want people tipping because, that's not what this is for. This is a conversation, really. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to talk to you. The Popcast is back. The Popcast. I love you guys. Rumble is not great right now. You can't even schedule uploads. He writes, great for free speech, bad for creators. Yeah, it's tough, you guys. Rumble, I wish it was better. I really do. He just writes, grass is pink. Yeah. Merlin Wizard, in all caps, writes, Tick History has an in-depth history. I can't read. Merlin Wizard writes, Tick History has in-depth history that is researched as well as your videos. Oh, that is awesome. I'm going to check that out. Justin Wilson writes, AOC really does seem to have the mentality of a petulant child. She's funny, man. She's a funny girl. Let's see here. Mo, right? Timcast, Y-Files, and Mr. Reagan are a few reasons I still watch YouTube. He's talking about YouTube. Mary Lee says, good night. Good night, Mary Lee. Or it might be Marie Lee, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But let's see. Kasumi Rose gave me $1.45. Kasumi Rose, thank you so much. And a beautiful unicorn sticker on the side. Mrs. Rush writes, no, AOC is not cute. Barf. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're not imagining her as a cute little puppy, then no, she's not so cute. She's more like scary. Let's see here. Janet Wood writes, are you a Christian? I am a devoutly religious Christian. I haven't gone to church in a long time. That's not because of a choice that I made, really. It's really more because I am extremely particular about the pastor of the church that I go to. When I was younger, I noticed that a lot of churches have pastors who think they're stand-up comedians, and I find this a little bit disrespectful. Now, if they are really funny, but I get the sense that they are a really, devoted pastor and humble and a good person, then I don't mind. You can make jokes up on the you know pulpit. I'm fine with that. But it's important to me. Okay, it says that my stream is going to be a bit shaky, so I'm going to have to just probably jump off here. But I will say that the pastor is very important to me, and so if I can't find a good pastor, I just won't go to church, which is terrible because I do love church, and I think church is a very good thing, and people should go to church. If I find a wife, I'll start to going to church again. At some point in my life. I'm an old man, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but let's see here. Two Dogs Mike D again. Honestly, dude, you have been the boss of the chat. He comes in with another $10. He writes, Aquatic Apes YouTube channel has mentioned how far $10 will go in Bali. Great channel on spearfishing. Look him up while you're there. Maybe you can hang out. I bet you have a blast. I will. I actually will check that guy out. Aquatic Apes. I'm going to write that down because if he's actually out here, then I will actually go hang out with him if I can. Yeah, I didn't know that Bali was actually very cheap to you can rent a hotel incredibly cheap out here, and the food's relatively cheap. It's quite a good place to live. If you wanted to relocate to Bali, I wouldn't. And it's a nice place. I mean, it's a third world country, so there's a lot of the roads are messed up. You could fall into a hole in the sidewalk. It's kind of crazy, and you have to ride a motorcycle everywhere. So if you're not comfortable on a scooter or a motorcycle, maybe not come to Bali. But yeah, it's cheap and it's very cool. I almost exclusively hang out with Europeans. The girl that lives two doors down, she's from the Netherlands. She's Dutch. I hang out with her basically every day. She's awesome. I call her my little sister. Nothing romantic there. The girl at the end, she's from Russia. We went on a date. I don't know. I'm not going to take her out again, probably. She's all right. She's all right. And there's just all kinds of cool people that I've just met here. It's a fun place. It's a great place to hang out. The podcast writes, "Come to my church, brother. I've been called funny but inspiring." That's true. He's a pastor at the church at the podcast. If you want to check that guy out. Let's see here. Sienna, $20. Thanks so much, Sienna. Writes, just to show up Two Dogs. Oh, Sienna is owning the chat. She's taking it back. I love that. I love that. You guys are great. F-Bomb, $1.99. Thanks for a full night of laughs and random stuff. Yeah, it is random stuff. That is true. That's weird. This guy writes, Dave Whitley writes, Dutch chicks read. That's bizarre. Sapphire Blue says, try Norway. I probably will visit Norway at some point. I have a very, very good friend who's actually from Iceland. So he knows basically everyone in Iceland, because Iceland's a very small country, actually. He knows the whole country. And so he's like, Chris, go to Iceland. I will set you up with everybody so they can show you around and show you a good time. And I'm like, awesome. Love that guy. Great guy. So I'm going to go to Iceland probably next. Or at least at some point in the near future. I have another friend in Copenhagen, Denmark, so I'm going to definitely go to Copenhagen. So this is my sort of travel plans in the near future. I'd like to go to Berlin just because I've never been there, and where my family is from in Germany. We're from a very tiny, tiny town. I'd like to go visit that as well. Let's see. Nincompoop wrote, Chris, I sold you a mattress in Salem, Oregon, and you were a nice guy and a cool dude in real life. Very happy to see your work grow. Is that true? A mattress in Salem, Oregon. My gosh. Well, I am definitely from Salem, Oregon. I don't remember buying a mattress, but that's really cool. Thank you, man. That's like a blast from the past. I love Salem, Oregon. I love Oregon. I love people from Oregon. I actually think they're very down-to-earth people, much like people from the Netherlands, much like people from Australia. People in Oregon are no BS people. I often say that if I ever moved back to Oregon and bought a Ferrari, let's say I had enough money to buy a Ferrari just for fun, because who wouldn't want a Ferrari? Everyone there would ruthlessly mock me. Why do you have that? Why don't you have a truck like everybody else? Because it doesn't make sense in Oregon to have a super nice car. You would want a pickup truck. That's what makes sense. Steel Fang jumps in with $50. Oh my gosh, now you're taking over the chat. Look at that. Wish you the best. I look forward to more of your videos. Remember, never give up, never surrender. That's from Galaxy Quest. I think one of the best satirical films ever produced. Amazing movie. I've never seen Galaxy Quest. You want a good laugh. You got to support the work of, what's that guy's name? Tim the Toolman Taylor. What's his name? I can't remember. Anyway, that guy, he's a good conservative guy. And let me tell you, I have a friend who works on his show. He really is a conservative, this guy. But, he's got to kind of be quiet about it in Hollywood. But, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Crispy Mofo 1776, he writes, this country is a business. You have to run it like a business. We don't make money. If we don't make money, we don't stay open. That is so brilliant. That is so brilliant. I have this idea. And actually, I noticed Tim Pool tweeted something out like this a little while ago, which I've been preaching this for a while now. So I'm going to assume that he stole it from me. I don't think he did, but I'm glad he agrees. I'm glad he's saying the same thing because he's got a much bigger audience than I do. You should not be able to vote if you are taking in more money from the government than you are putting out. That is, if you actually receive more benefits from the government than you pay in taxes, you don't get a vote. And I love this idea. You could put it many different ways. I don't know, that would be a difficult calculation a lot of times. So I think you should just say, like, if you're on any kind of government assistance, maybe you don't get to vote. Like, certain things, obviously not military or something like that. There are certain things you would have exceptions for. But for a lot of things, I don't think you get to vote. Because if you're taking money from the government, you're always going to vote to take more money from the government. And those shouldn't be the people that are voting. I think that's a really good policy. Seashell Mac writes, I'm from Boring, Oregon, 97009, close to Gresham. Yeah, I'm very well aware of Boring. We actually have a town called Boring, and it is fairly boring. It's a rural area. I used to have a friend that lived out there, had a farm. He had dirt bikes and horses and a Nintendo. And I didn't have a Nintendo when I was a kid, so that was a big deal. So in the 80s, when I was like maybe 5, 6, 7, I'm not, this is crazy, but in Oregon, this is what you'd do in the 80s. We would drive out to this guy's house. They actually had a tree growing up in their house, I remember. That was weird. They were pretty poor people. And we would go out to the barn, we'd get the horse, we'd strap on the saddle, we'd jump on, and we'd just go riding through the woods. It was like great fun. I mean, that was like my childhood. And then we'd get back and we'd jump on the dirt bikes, and then we'd ride the dirt bikes around, and then we'd catch, what did we catch? Fish. They had fish in the creek. What were they? Catfish. We would catch catfish and crawdads. We called them crawdads. People call them other things, crayfish, stuff like that. But yeah, we catch crawdads. And let's see here. That was my childhood. Bishop to Q3 Check writes, like Top Gear, do a Mr. Reagan adventure. Oh, that would be cool. Oh, now you got me thinking, man. Now you've got me thinking. Justin Wilson writes, I would prefer a Lamborghini. Yeah, Lamborghini, Ferrari, they're all very good. I like the Aston Martin. I think that's the most beautiful car. I have a saying that I have you saying that quote on my Galaxy Quest doc. Oh, do I? I love that. I love that movie so much. Let's see here. Seashell Matt, give me $2. Thank you. Love from Boring, Oregon. Tina Kotex. Okay, well, thank you so much, Tina. Let's see here. What else we got? I feel like there are some other people that I missed here. The Top Gear thing. I really like that. I feel like I would need other people with me. Tim Allen, that's his name. Frick. Why can't see? I'm kind of like Biden sometimes. Like I just forget random things. I'm not senile. Hopefully, I'm not senile. Two Dogs Mike D wrote 100% agree. I'm not sure what you agree about, but okay, man. Bugatti, yeah. Lisa Lawson wrote Bugatti. Okay, yeah. Bugatti is pretty dang awesome. Let's see here. Agree on the Aston Martin, says Robert Neal. Talos115 says, what if you are helping people who are not on government assistance? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. The Freak writes, how old are you? I am 44 years old. I'm an old man. I know I don't look 44. Well, maybe I do on camera. I don't know. In real life, I look a little bit younger. Let's see here. Ebenezer X says, can't say just stop by. Say, Mr. Reagan is awesome. Well, you know what, Ebenezer X? You are awesome. Sienna writes, night all, blessed, be blessed in all you do. Great chat. Well, thank you so much, Sienna. Sienna, you are awesome. I love you. Thanks for the super chats. Seashell Mac writes, Tina Kotex. Hold on. What am I doing here? Tina Kotek is her name, is the new governor. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. We've got this new governor in Oregon who's, I think, just as bad as the last one, right? I mean, the whole thing's a nightmare. Oregon politics is just absolutely terrible. Sorry, I misunderstood that. I'm glad. This is what I do. I misunderstand somebody's super chat, and then they got to pay me more for another super chat so they can clarify. Bay Area Cuddy says, have you ever had a German car? I have not. Mostly I had Toyota, Nissan. I mostly had Japanese cars, I think, growing up. My family always had like some kind of American truck or something. But German car I've never had, but I rented a lot of German cars. I quite like Mercedes. I think Mercedes is an excellent car. Obviously, something like BMW is always a good car. I've driven a Porsche. I've driven a lot of cars. I used to be a valet when I was young. I did valet work in Hollywood, and I drove the cars of lots of celebrities and some really cool stuff, really cool cars. Ferrari, I really like Ferraris, actually. Knights Blossom writes, that's BS. My brother is disabled on government assistance, but he's a staunch Republican. Not everybody on assistance is Democrats. Those people don't usually vote anyway. No, look, like I said, there are some programs that I wouldn't. Disability is not something, I don't think anybody would go, oh, you have a disability, so the government's paying you? Screw you don't get a vote. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions. We're going to have to try to figure out which sort of things we're going to exclude you from voting for. Come on, man. Let's see here. You're not black and white for once. Yes, I started doing this black and white thing for my videos. I did it once because I couldn't get the color grading right, and I was just like, screw it, I'll do it in black and white. And then I liked that, actually, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll make this kind of like a thing. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Do you even notice that my show is in black and white? Do you care? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I know that one of my buddies said the other day on the Popcast, he goes, bro, I love the black and white. I think it's really cool. So at least one positive note. I don't know if everybody likes the black and white, though. Do not use says Trump is a demigod. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's the Antichrist. You'd never know, would you? Because he's just so dang great. I love Donald Trump. But I could be fooled. I could be fooled to think Donald Trump is awesome, but really he's like secretly horrible because he's just so great. You just love him, right? Casio, $5. Make a Mount Rushmore of presidents, but you can't pick the 4 already on there. And no one 1990 plus. Oh, nobody already on there. Well, I think, is John Adams on there? I like John Adams, the first John Adams. Big fan of his. Because who do they got? They got Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, and Roosevelt, right? Those are the 4. I like John Adams. I'm a big fan of John Adams. Who else do I like? I think probably Kennedy would have to be on there. I'm not a Democrat, but he was such a big, iconic president. I don't even really like Kennedy, if I'm honest, but he was such an iconic president. I think he would be, you just throw the Democrats a bone. Let's see here. A lot of people, why not Adams? What the heck? Adams is great. Adams is great. Adams is better than you guys think. Adams was like a really strong conservative early on that people, I think he's overlooked a little bit. A lot of people like Andrew Jackson because he was kind of a no BS. He was like the original Donald Trump, Jesus is God writes, oh, did Chris get the jab? This is a great question, guys. I never got the jab. I did have a card that said that I did at one point because my ex-wife was Russian. So I had that so I could go to Hawaii and go to the restaurants and stuff. So yeah, I was probably I don't know if that was illegal or what that was, but yeah, I had a fake card that the ex-wife grabbed somewhere. But no, I never got the jab, and I don't think I ever got COVID. I never tested positive for COVID. I was tested many, many times because I traveled quite a bit, and yeah, I never got COVID as far as I'm aware, and I definitely never got the jab. And so now I have what I call unvaxxed privilege, right? Which is like, I said earlier, I think white people have the privilege of knowing that their ancestors were part of a race of people that did the most awesome things in history. And I think that that's actually a very nice thing. So we don't have to resent any other group that did better than us. And I think that there is a privilege there, actually. We don't have to worry about resenting other people for being better than us because we're part of a group that did awesome things. And I think being unvaxxed is the same thing. Actually, I thought of this because Scott Adams came up, did a video the other day, and he was like, you know what? I have to worry every day if I'm going to die of myocarditis because I got the freaking vax, and I didn't think about it at the time. I wasn't skeptical enough at the time of the vax. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Because he was like, unvaxxed people, they don't have to worry about that. They go around the world thinking, I'm great, I'm unvaxxed, I'm pure blood, right? And he's right. I don't ever worry about what, the side effects of the vaccine are because I never got vaxxed. And so I feel actually very quite happy and privileged and blessed for never having been vaccinated. So I do think of that as a kind of lucky thing that I did. OMG Puppies, $10. Thank you so much, OMG Puppies. Writes, great work. Keep it up. Coming in late. Nice to see you. Nice to see Newland resign. Oh, did Newland resign? I didn't see that. Oh, I got to check that out. I think I saw something on Twitter, but I didn't realize it was for the resignation. A bad guy many people don't know is Norm Eisen at Brookings, and Newland's husband, Robert Kagan, the OG neocon. Okay, interesting. Norm Eisen. Okay, I'll check that out. Norm Eisen. Thank you so much, OMG Puppies. Appreciate it. NMA 2012M. That's a crazy name, guy. Right, it's Mr. Reagan. Do you think today's MSN, mainstream media, would have vilified Ronald Reagan the same way they do Trump if he had been trying, if he had been trying to be president today? 100% yes. 100% yes. The mainstream media is tied in. Some of them, I think, because they're sort of in cahoots, and others because they're brainwashed. But the mainstream media really is tied into the deep state, the FBI, the CIA, that whole network. They are really tied into that. And I think that Ronald Reagan really was an independent-minded person that cared about the country, just like Donald Trump. And if you're an independent-minded person that cares about the country, you are the enemy of the deep state. You are the enemy of the mainstream media. You're an enemy of these people. Did I miss anyone? Did I miss any? I don't think so. All right, I think I'm going to jump off here pretty soon. I mean, I have all day because it's still, oh my gosh, it's 2 o'clock. We've been going for a long time. You guys have said some awesome stuff. I love you guys. I love my fans. I said it before. I'll say it again. You guys are the best fans on YouTube. You guys are the best community on YouTube. You're smarter than me. And you're always showing me that in the comments section, which is very humbling, and I absolutely love it. Jesus God writes, you'd think Chris would be snatched up so fast and have a dozen kids by now. Yeah, you'd think, right? You'd think that, but no. You know, it's funny. My brother's married, beautiful woman, great woman. Her name's Marcia. She's a fantastic girl. My other brother also married, a beautiful woman named Lisa, just fantastic person. My sister's got a great husband. They all found somebody. Yeah, pretty early on, actually, in their adult lives. And I went out in the world, and I met this girl, and I thought, she's not really my type, but I'll go for her. She likes me, whatever. So I dated this girl, and then broke up with her, and then I met some other girl that again I was like a little bit on the fence. I met one girl I was madly in love with, and stupidly let her go like an idiot. I broke up with her, and it just like I think and so over the years. I'm 44 now. I'm old, So over the years, I actually have dated quite a lot of women and had quite a lot of girlfriends. And a lot of them were very beautiful, very charming, very intelligent, all the things a guy would want in a girl. And a lot of my friends have kind of perceived this lifestyle as something that they aspire to. They're like, oh man, you're cool, man. You got all these girls, blah, whatever. But that was really never my intention. I was never trying to go out in the world and date a lot of women. I just wanted to get a wife, get married, and all that kind of stuff like normal. I don't know. I just never found the right girl. I thought I did at one point, and it turned out not. And then maybe there was another time in which I probably should have married the girl, and I didn't. So, yeah, it really is like I think the lifestyle of people who are like playboys or I don't know. They have different terms for it. But these guys that go around and like they date a ton of women, I don't know if it's necessarily what they want in life. It certainly was never what I wanted in life. But I ended up being one of those guys, and I hate being one of those guys if I'm honest. But that's just how it is. You date people, you hope it works out. Maybe I'm a difficult person to connect with other people. I don't know. Night Blossom, $10, writes, who do you think should take McConnell's place? Oh, that's a great question. Why do you hit me with that here? I don't know if I can answer that right away. I mean, I would have to like literally like sit down. Oh man, could you imagine if it was somebody like Rand Paul? I would love it if it was Rand Paul. I don't know. Why don't you guys mention it in the comment section? I'll go through and I'll look at your answers. Let's see here. HC writes, what was the Gmail, the Reagan-esque? Yes, that's perfect. At Gmail, yes. That is perfect. HC, that is, I'll like your comment here. I'll like this comment here. Oh my gosh, I'm missing them here. Doc BBR, $5. Thank you, Doc BBR. Writes, congrats on staying pure blood. You look great, healthier than ever. You are way too young to consider getting a jab. Also, JFK would be a Democrat. Would be a Democrat now. I think RFK Jr. You mean he would be a Republican now? I think you're 100% right. I think it would be a Republican. But if you do mean he'd be Democrat, I don't think so. I think JFK would be a Republican for sure. I don't know what you meant to say there, but I think he would be a Republican. Yeah, I'm way too young to get the jab. Yeah, when the whole jab thing started, it did occur to me like if I did realize that older people were dying and very very fat people were dying, and people with like very serious illnesses, and I realized I didn't have any of those problems. So I'm like, I think I should just get a little healthier because I was a bit fat at the time. So actually, COVID encouraged me to get more fit, which was quite good. Selena Girl 69 says, Mr. Reagan, escape from LA. I have escaped from LA. I'm no longer in that what I call the hellmouth, which is LA. I'm now traveling. I'm in Asia right now, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I'm driving around. I'm driving around Bali currently on a motorcycle, dodging traffic. I mean, guys, you got to understand, when you're driving in traffic, first of all, you drive on the left side of the road. Secondly, the road is too narrow to be 2 lanes, but it is 2 lanes. And thirdly, because the motorcycles are so much faster than the cars, when you come up to a car, you go around it. That means you go into the wrong lane. But because you're on a motorcycle, you could fit into the wrong lane with somebody coming at you on a motorcycle or a scooter. And everybody understands this. So you're constantly passing. You're looking for waiting. Okay, go. You're constantly passing cars, and you're speeding inches past motorcycles going the other way, just as fast as you are, which isn't actually that fast. You're probably going 20 miles an hour or something at the most. Sometimes you go faster, like on the, like the highways and stuff like that. But I can't wait to get a GoPro video of this. My friend has a GoPro. I'm going to borrow it. You guys, it's nuts here. It's nuts. All right, you guys, a lot of people go to sleep. I don't blame you. You should go to sleep. I love you guys. Everybody who gave me a super chat, you guys are amazing. Everybody who didn't give me a super chat, you guys are amazing. Is the camera on battery power? Yes, it is. So it's going to end soon anyway. All right, you guys are the best fans on YouTube. It's been 2 hours. I'm going to say good night. Trump is awesome. He's going to be our nominee. I can't wait till he's president. Have a good night, everybody, and until next time. Remember, it's not that liberal friends are ignorant, it's just they know so much that is not so. Okay, good night, guys.